Hey friends, happy Sunday and welcome back to another week of What's for Dinner. If you're new here, hello and welcome. I am Taylor. I'm a stay-at-home wife and a mom, and I share What's for Dinner videos just like this every Sunday. I have for going on 6 years now. I think this February is going to be 6 years if I remember correctly. But I share them every week just to motivate myself to cook more for my family and to also motivate y'all to cook more for your family and hopefully to give you some new meal ideas. We did try some new things this week that I'm excited to share with you. So let's go ahead and get into this week's What's for Dinner. Starting off Friday night, we had some pork chops and roast potatoes and green beans. So I had these bone-in pork chops, and I don't prefer bone-in pork chops, so I've just had these in my freezer for a while and been picking around them and not using them. So I finally decided to use them up. So I coated them with some mustard because I've seen people do that before with pork. I think it helps keep it juicy. So I did that. And then I seasoned it all over with some salt, pepper, garlic powder, and onion powder. And then I just sprinkled on some panko breadcrumbs, kind of like a shake and bake kind of thing. But I didn't have any shake and bake. So I just wanted a little bit of crunch on there. And then I baked these in the oven on 425 for about 25 minutes. And here's what those looked like when they were done. I did line my pan with foil, so cleanup was super easy. And to go with these, I just roasted some potatoes at the same time on a separate sheet pan with garlic powder, onion powder, salt, pepper, paprika, I think, whatever seasonings you want. And then I made some green beans on the stove. Saturday night, I just made some Potstickers and fried rice. The Potstickers were the ones from Aldi, and I will say we prefer the ones from Trader Joe's a lot more. These were not bad, just the ones from Trader Joe's are better. That's just all there is to it. And I made some fried rice, and I've shared my recipe for that many times before, so I will have a video linked down below if you want to see how I made that step by step. Sunday night, I made nachos, and I have actually been out of the nacho cheese for a while because I've been avoiding going to Sam's Club, so I don't have any in the freezer. And Elijah requested nachos, so I was like, you know what, maybe I can find a recipe to make some nacho cheese. I wouldn't say I would make this nacho cheese again. I feel like it's missing something, so if I try to make it again, I will probably try a different recipe, but I'm still going to share with you what I did, and the recipe will be linked down below. So I started off by freshly grating some sharp cheddar cheese, and then I tossed 3 cups of that with 1.5 teaspoons of cornstarch. And then on the stove in a pot, I'm going to heat up 1 12-ounce can of evaporated milk and bring that to a simmer over a medium heat. And once that's hot, then it says to turn off the heat and add in the cheese. So that's what I did, a little bit at a time, and stirred it together until it was all nice and melted. And then you can add in hot sauce, salt, and cayenne pepper to taste, so you can get it to the taste that you want. And then I felt like it was missing something, so I added in 2 slices of American cheese and just kept tasting it until I got it how I wanted it. It didn't end up being as thick as I wanted it to. It did start to thicken a little bit as it cooled, but I don't want cold cheese, so yeah, it just was a little bit thinner than I wanted it to, and the flavor just felt like it was missing something. So if you have any recommendations for making nacho cheese at home, let me know in the comments down below. And here are our plates of nachos. We've got our chips, our meat that I actually cooked some black beans into as well, the cheese, lettuce, tomatoes, salsa, all the stuff. Monday night, I actually tried a new recipe for some crispy tilapia sticks. Homemade fish sticks. All I can think about when I say the word fish sticks is South Park. If you know, you know. But I just took 4 tilapia fillets and cut them up into little fish stick size pieces, and then I have those in a bowl, and I'm seasoning them all over with some salt, garlic powder, onion powder, and pepper, and then I'm just going to toss those to coat them with the seasoning really well. Then in one small bowl, I am whisking together 2 eggs, and I'm adding some seasoning to that. Same things that I put on the fish. And then I'm also doing that same thing with some panko breadcrumbs. The recipe that I will have linked down below does not have you season the breadcrumbs or the eggs, but I have learned the hard way that you should season every step of like the batter. Otherwise your fish is usually going to be, or even like your chicken, whatever you're making is going to be a little bland. So season every step and you'll have great tasting food. And then I'm just going to take the fish sticks, dip them in the egg, and then into the panko breadcrumbs, and then just lay them on a plate until I'm ready to fry them. In a large skillet, I have heated up some oil. I think honestly I should have had more oil because I think you're supposed to deep fry these, because I ended up needing to flip them over so that the tops of them could get cooked all the way through and browned. If you have enough oil, definitely make it deep enough to cover your fish sticks, and then you don't have to worry about flipping them. But I cooked them for like 3 minutes and then flipped them over and cooked them for about another 3 minutes. And then I'm going to take them out and put them on a wire cookie rack over top some paper towels so that they can kind of drip down onto that. And I did it on a wire cookie rack so they would stay crispy and like wouldn't be sitting in that oil. And then I just repeated that for the rest of my fish sticks. I did have to do like 3 batches, I think, because I had a lot of them. These turned out so good. I served them with some salad on the side and some tater tots that I made in the air fryer. And we had leftovers of these and they reheated really well in the air fryer. We all loved them. While we were eating the leftovers, Andy actually told me that I should make homemade fish sticks more often because they were that good. Tuesday we tried another new recipe. This is a crock pot chicken pot pie type meal, and I did change a little bit of things, but I will let you know what it is that I changed. So I'm starting off here with 1 cup of water and some Knorr chicken bouillon to make 1 cup of chicken broth, and then 2 cans of cream of chicken soup. And then I'm going to add in some chopped up onion and some chopped up celery, and then some seasoning. I did some dried parsley, some paprika, oregano, salt, and pepper, and lots of pepper. I didn't end up adding enough pepper here, but it definitely needed more pepper. We added pepper to our bowls. I mean, if you don't like pepper though, you don't have to add that much, but give that all a good mix. And then I'm going to add in my boneless, skinless chicken breasts. Just pop them down in there, kind of cover them with that mixture. And then I cooked this on low for like 8 hours, 8 to 10 hours. It didn't need nearly that long. It's just, I had to start this in the morning before I went somewhere because it would have been like awkward timing if I would have waited until I got back because I didn't know how long I was going to be gone. So I went ahead and started it really early and just let it cook all day. And then all I had to do was go in and shred up that chicken. And then I just added 1 can of drained peas and carrots and let this sit on warm while I made some biscuits. So the original recipe wanted you to add corn, which I didn't want corn in my chicken pot pie. And it wanted you to add in frozen peas, and it wanted you to do carrots at the beginning. I didn't feel like chopping up carrots, so I didn't do that. And I was like, you know what? I have a can of peas and carrots. I'll just add that at the end because, you know, they're already soft. They don't take any time to heat up in there. So just pop those in. And then in the oven, I cooked some of those frozen Pillsbury biscuits, and we just served this with those biscuits on top. It was great. and it was really good for the cold days that we've been having here in Georgia. It was a nice, comforting, warm meal. Wednesday night, we tried another new meal. These are easy Mongolian meatballs, and they were delicious. I'm always looking for new ways to use, like, everything. I'm always looking for new recipes, but especially ground beef. I feel like I'm always making the same things with ground beef. So when I saw this, I knew I had to try it. So in a large bowl, I have 2 pounds of ground beef. To that, I've added 4 green onions that I've finely chopped, about 2 inches of fresh ginger that I am grating, and then about 6 cloves of minced garlic. And then I'm just gonna mix that all together really well with some salt and pepper as well, and just mash it all together, get it mixed really well, and then roll it into about tablespoon size meatballs. I arranged the meatballs on half of a sheet pan, and then on the other half, I added 1 head of broccoli that I cut up, and I drizzled that with some olive oil and seasoned it with some salt and pepper. And then this went in the oven on 450 for, I did 18 minutes. It said 15 in the recipe, but after 15, I checked my meatballs and they weren't quite done yet. I think mine ended up being a little bit larger than the recipe called for, so they were done at 18 minutes for me. While the meatballs and broccoli were baking, I worked on my sauce on the stove. I did this in a fairly large skillet because you're going to be adding the meatballs to the sauce, so you want to make sure you have enough room for them. So in there, I am adding a tablespoon of vegetable oil, 1 cup of low sodium soy sauce, 1 cup of brown sugar, 2/3 cup of water, a tablespoon of rice wine vinegar, and then it called for 2 tablespoons of ginger and 4 cloves of minced garlic, but I actually used the last of my minced garlic in the meatballs, so I just did garlic powder, and then I also used the last of my fresh garlic in the meatballs, so I just did the little ginger cubes that I had in the freezer, and then I also added in about half a teaspoon of red pepper flakes, and then I just let that cook over a medium-high heat for about like 5 minutes until it started to like really start to bubble. Then I turned the heat down to like a medium-low and just let it simmer while my meatballs finished cooking. And then I whisked in a cornstarch and water mixture. It was 2 tablespoons of cornstarch and half a cup of cold water, whisked that together, and then added to the sauce to thicken it up. And then when the meatballs and broccoli came out of the oven, I just tossed the meatballs in that sauce. And then we had our meatballs and the sauce over some white rice with our broccoli on the side. Me and Elijah had some sesame seeds on top of ours, and this was delicious. I would definitely make it again. And finally, the last meal of the week was some smoked sausage and potatoes. I did this as a sheet pan meal. I just mixed the sausage and potatoes with some lifted onion soup mix, some garlic powder, onion powder, salt and paprika, and some olive oil. Threw it in the oven on 425 for about 40 minutes, and then served it with some green beans on the side, and it was delicious. And that is going to be it for this week's What's for Dinner. I hope that y'all enjoyed it. I hope that you got some new meal ideas. If you did, let me know which ones you plan on trying in the comments down below, and make sure you leave me a smiley face emoji down in the comments to let me know that you made it here all the way to the end. I hope y'all have a great week, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye!